Big breaking news tonight. The news that Liverpool fans have been waiting for all day, coming from Fabrizio Romano. It's here we go. Liverpool have informed RB Leipzig that they will be triggering the release clause of one Dominik Szoboszlai, the playmaker that we've talked about a fair amount in the past 48 to 72 hours or so. Liverpool have been working very hard on this, from what we understand, all of today. It was pretty much deadline day for the Reds, as his release clause expired at midnight tonight. It seems everything is done and dusted, and pending a medical, Liverpool have got a new signing in the addition of Dominik Szoboszlai. Reds fans, talk to me. What do you make of this? What do you make of this signing? What do you make of this player? What do you make of this big breaking news coming tonight? The confirmation from Fabrizio Romano, of course, and everything else in between. Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the channel. Like I say, the big breaking news tonight is that Dominik Szoboszlai is set to become a Liverpool player, pending a medical, of course, as Liverpool have triggered the 70 million euros release clause that was in his contract that was set to expire beyond today. It seems done and dusted. I'm excited from this. I'm excited by the prospect of this guy signing for Liverpool, and obviously, assuming that no one else decides to jump in between now and midnight, of course, it does seem that Liverpool are in pole position and seemingly are set to announce the new signing of Dominik Szoboszlai as one of their new acquisitions in that midfield, a position, of course, that needed to be strengthened, a position that needed to be found. And I say, I can't wait for this signing to, of course, take place. But talk to me. Hit in the chat, hit in the comments, whatever it may be, what your thoughts are, what you think and feel about this new signing. I'm very intrigued and very excited by what is happening right now in regards to this player and this signing. Player that over the past couple of days or so, I have grown more and more to like, grown more and more to understand why Liverpool would want him. And I cannot wait, simply cannot wait for this player to start, this player to come in, if this is to be the case, of course, and that Liverpool are not going to be the only ones that are going to be in for this. Of course, obviously a lot can change and a lot can happen in football, but fingers crossed, this is obviously done and dusted now. We'll go into a bit more detail, but before we go any further, I would like to remind you, please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things always have to be greatly appreciated. Also, get involved in the chat, like I say. Talk to me about Dominik Szoboszlai. Talk to me about Liverpool going forward. Would love to know what you guys think and feel on this particular transfer story. But let's get down into it. Let's get into the details. Like I say, for the past 48 to 72 hours or so, Liverpool have been talked about as monitoring this guy, talked about as to weighing up the possibility of maybe triggering a release clause that was in his contract until July the 1st. But anytime before then, the release clause could be active, but it would expire come July the 1st. And today, there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of positive talk at that Liverpool were going to get this deal done. And Liverpool fans, we've been waiting all day for the news that of David Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano to give us the confirmation that Liverpool will be triggering that clause. But it has finally happened, and it seems to be all good and going ahead. I'm excited for this. I am excited for this. Romano tweeted tonight saying, breaking, Dominik Szoboszlai to Liverpool, here we go. Understand RB Leipzig are now informed that Liverpool have triggered the release clause. 70 million euros deal done to be signed soon. Personal terms agreed. Szoboszlai is ready for medical tests soon. Huge signing for Liverpool. And that's it at the end of the day. This is a huge signing for Liverpool. It's someone who, in my opinion, brings with them something different, a different type of quality, a more attacking intent to that Liverpool midfield. a versatility to his game in terms of where he can play in that midfield, how he can play in midfield, and of course can fill in a gap on the wings as well. This is a guy who has got great technical ability. 22 years of age, can only get better, you would assume, with obviously playing under a better manager, with better players, and of course playing on a bigger and grander stage in terms of the Premier League, in terms of more regularly in the, well, I know they're in Europa League this season, but fingers crossed they can get back in the Champions League, of course. And then obviously at a bigger club, with all due respect to Leipzig, like Liverpool. He's a 22-year-old attacking midfielder. Looks to be very good with his technical ability. It is quite creative as well. Ball carrier. That attacking role can open up so much for him, so much for his teammates, so much for everybody else around him. It can be a positive signing in that aspect. Doesn't mind a shot. He's got a wicked and fierce shot on him. So he's pretty confident in front of goal, pretty confident from far. Doesn't mind a shot on goal. And it looks like Trent might have a bit of a rival for set pieces. We know Alexis Mac Allister can also strike a decent set piece. So at least we've got a few options there for if Trent maybe is having a bad game, or it might not be something that Trent may fancy, depending on the distance, angle, all of that stuff. We've got a couple of options now for that kind of role. But he's very quick. He's very creative. He's got a very good engine on him. He's still a little rough around the edges, I'd say, but they can obviously be smoothed out with experience and with age. And like I say, the versatility of being a number 8 in that engine, or being a more attacking midfielder, just playing off the front line, or maybe filling in for the wing positions if needed to do so, will obviously please Jurgen Klopp to no end. And there's a big reason why I think Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have looked at this guy as a big prospect, and of course as a big transfer. 70 million euros. That's what would work out around about 60 million pounds, give or take. For 60 million euros, I think this is a fantastic signing. Like I say, I'm not a big religious follower of the Bundesliga. I don't see a hell of a lot of Leipzig, but I have watched a little bits here and there of that league, of that club. And from what I can say, and part of what I've seen of Szoboszlai, is that he looks a very, very promising talent for the here and the now, as well as for the future. I think this is a guy that Jurgen Klopp can't wait to sink his teeth into, to mold into his philosophy, and to obviously help resurrect and be part of the rebirth of Liverpool's midfield going forward. I think he blends well with what Liverpool currently have, as well as the incoming of Alexis Mac Allister as well. And if obviously we can now bring in, I don't know, maybe a more defensive type of midfielder, I would say that is probably job done for right now in terms of what this midfield needs. And then we'll look to obviously strengthen it going forward for next season, whilst I also then believe that we should also look at strengthening the defence as well for the forthcoming campaign. But that is for the future. This is about the here and now. Szoboszlai to Liverpool. Massive deal, in my opinion. Not just for the money, not just for the statement, but obviously just for what it means that Liverpool have got this deal done. Because I will admit, I was skeptical. I was very much skeptical about whether this deal would get done. I remember when it first came out a couple of days ago from David Ornstein, I basically said that, the price tag isn't a ridiculous amount. It isn't a stupid amount. We know that Liverpool have spent that kind of money before. And when they do spend that kind of money before, we know that they are then truly under the belief that he will genuinely improve the squad as a whole. And he will genuinely improve the team. So we know that when Liverpool do spend this kind of money, we know it's because they genuinely believe it. There's legitimacy to it. There's truth behind it. So it is big money in that aspect. We know that Liverpool definitely wanted this. And I said a couple of days ago, I didn't think it would be done. I hold my hands up and say I was wrong. I thought that 70 million release clause, I thought with a few other teams seemingly monitoring this situation, maybe they will get involved. And there's still the possibility. There is still the possibility that maybe this isn't completely tied up yet, because like I say, midnight tonight, that clause that clause obviously expires. It seems like he's going to Liverpool, and everything does seem to be tied up. Romano says that personal terms are no issue. All said and done, it's just about awaiting a medical. But obviously, we wait and see, and obviously hope that no one else decides to pay the money and pay the same or even a better structure to Leipzig in terms of that aspect, that maybe he could have his head turned by someone else. So it does look positive right now for Liverpool. So fingers crossed this obviously does come off and everything is fine and dandy when it comes to Liverpool acquiring a new signing in Dominik Szoboszlai. And I, for one, like I say, I'm very, very excited by this. I'm very intrigued by the possibility of this guy coming into the squad and how he'll bed in, how he will fit in. Like I say, I didn't think it would be done for a few reasons. I thought the timing was a bit against us. I thought the price tag FSG may look somewhere else, but I'm pleased that, to an extent, Liverpool and FSG have decided to pull their finger out a little bit in terms of this transfer, in terms of obviously this happening. And I'm very intrigued by this, and I can't wait to see how he'll bed in. Like I said, I think he'll work well. Like I say, he's got great technical ability. He's creatively good, doesn't mind running the ball, not short of confidence, loves a strike or two. He's got a wicked strike on him. I like this guy. I like the look of this guy more and more every time that I see him. I've seen him transition from defense into attack. I've seen him transition the other way around from attack to defense. I've seen him strike set pieces. I've seen him strike from distance. I've seen him be creative. I like the look of this guy, and I feel like he is going to blend in very well with the likes of Mohamed Salah, even Luis Diaz, even to an extent. I think he's going to really help Darwin Núñez, and I think he's going to be a big physical presence as well. He's going to be a big physical presence in that team. He's going to be a big character, and I'm really hoping that he hits the ground running going forward. And like I say, I really, really do like the look of this guy. I really do like the look of this guy. As far as everything else goes about him and what he's got, obviously, to offer this club going forward, what he's got to offer the squad. And like I say, at 22 years of age, the price tag of 60 million, when you see like Mason Mount going for like 60 million, I know it's like 70 million euros, but it'll work out around about 60 million, won't it? 60 million in terms of what Liverpool getting. When you see like Mason Mount going for 60 million, and I know that they're slightly different players, I think it's a beautiful piece of business. I think it's a brilliant piece of business. It is obviously a gamble. It's obviously more of a gamble when obviously you're considering bringing in a player from a different league, different style of play, different culture and everything else like that. But in my opinion, the Bundesliga isn't too different from the Premier League in terms of obviously the types of aspects of the Premier League, in terms of obviously the physicality and the demand of the Premier League. I think the Premier League is higher, but I think if you're looking for a league that isn't too dissimilar, then I think the Bundesliga is where you look. It's going to be interesting to see if he can transform the form that he's shown at Leipzig to Liverpool, and that'll be very interesting to see. But there's always a gamble with that. Wherever you look, whatever team you look at, whatever club you look at, there's always going to be those question marks surrounding him. I personally don't have too big of an issue, I would say, with him. I think that he's going to work out very well, whether it's maybe not for the immediate future, but whether it's in the long term. I would still back that Liverpool have made the right decision by triggering the release clause, going forward with this, and I think that it's going to be a fantastic signing for everybody involved. And yeah, I cannot wait to see him in action. I cannot wait to see him in a Liverpool shirt. This is obviously to be the case. I don't think it's going to be hijacked in any sort of way, shape, or form. But obviously, stranger things have happened in the transfer window. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat what you guys think on this story. Would love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings on this guy. Like I say, for me, he's got a lot of tools to his arsenal. He's got a lot of traits, a lot of ability, a lot of quality, and a lot of potential as well. Like I say, I think he's still a little rough around the edges in certain cases, but I'm sure that with playing under a better manager, playing under or playing around better players, and obviously with more experience, I think this guy could genuinely become one of the more. It's going to be interesting because I say that he plays as a number 8. He can be a bit more box to box, or he could be a bit more advanced. It's going to be interesting to see if Klopp has a set position in mind, or whether it's going to be a case of, depending on the scenario at play, depending on what players I have available, depending on who we're against, whether or not he'll have to fill in a gap here or fill in a gap there. So it's going to be very interesting. But last season for Leipzig, he made 46 appearances across all competitions. He scored 10 goals and assisted 13 times. A brilliant, not so much a brilliant, but still a very solid kind of return, I guess you'd say, for a player of his current ability, and obviously playing for a club like Leipzig. He's at least recorded some sort of goal contribution every other game there. So it looks pretty solid. It looks promising. And you would imagine that playing with better players, playing under a better manager and all of that stuff, that those numbers will boost and those numbers will be on the increase. Fingers crossed. Should obviously play more game time, play with better players, and play under a better manager and all of that good stuff. So, yeah, I'm very excited by this. I'm hoping that Liverpool fans are too. The majority that I've cast my eye over on social media seem to be very intrigued and very excited by the potential of this guy, as well as his current raw talent, of course. So it seems like it's a positive deal, and it seems like it's got Liverpool fans interested. And, you know, I will say, like, we were all disappointed when we didn't get the news we were all hoping for in regards to Jude Bellingham. We were obviously all disappointed that Liverpool weren't going to be signing Jude Bellingham. We were all frustrated that basically 2 years worth of chasing the guy resulted in us going, oh, but we thought that you would lower his price tag because we speak highly of him and because we've got Henderson and Trent like all over him in England training and all that stuff. We were frustrated by that. We were frustrated by that news that we weren't getting him. But you know what? Alexis McAllister, 35 million. This guy for 70 million euros, which give or take is around about 60 million euros again. 60 million pounds, sorry. For 95 million, getting these two players, I think is a solid a couple of solid pieces of business that will, as individuals, is brilliant, and I think as a collective and as a unit is even better, and I think they enhance each other. And then, of course, if you add in a Kefren Turam, which fingers crossed that happens as well, because I'm very intrigued by that guy as well, a more defensive style midfielder. Them three enhance each other, play very well, and resurrects and rebirths that midfield. And if it's going to be for a case of 40 to 45 million, then I say go for it, because let's face it, that's going to be about 140 odd million, maybe just below 150 million, between 140 and 150 million on three midfielders that are here for the present and for the future. There'll be some Liverpool fans out there that may be saying that these guys are too young. These guys are not of the here and now quality that we need. We need reliable. We need reliability. We need quality and star quality at that for the here and now. I say for the age, they're here for the here and now, as well as for the future. They're going to be sustainable for the future. They're going to be worthwhile assets for the future as well. If it doesn't necessarily work out with one of them, or at least two of them, or maybe on, the small risk, all three of them, we can probably move them on for similar prices, or maybe just a little less for the future. Go to another club, get our money back, and we re-go again. I genuinely just believe that this signing is a quality signing. Alexis McAllister was a quality signing and a big bargain for what we got. And if we can get Catherine Sharam as well, or someone of a similar or even better quality in terms of obviously a more defensively styled midfielder, that is the perfect way to round off the midfield section of this transfer window. And then, of course, we have to look at the defensive side of things. We need at least one centre-back, in my opinion, a more left-sided centre-back maybe. Definitely needs to be addressed and needs to be looked at. And then after that, you can sort of maybe move into pre-season whilst keeping your eye open for maybe another bargain here or there. But it's worth obviously keeping an eye on. There was also a little bit of concern in regards to Liverpool's homegrown quota. Now, of course, looking at the current Liverpool squad and obviously the homegrown players within that, Liverpool, I think, have around about 7, maybe 8. And obviously with this signing coming in now, that obviously plugs another gap of needing, or not needing right now, but starting to be a bit of concern over the homegrown quota of our team. The new contract of Adrian means he's going to be staying, which means, of course, that fills up another gap for the homegrown quota. This guy coming in obviously fills another gap, and with obviously Reece Williams going out on loan this past week, of course, and with rumours that Nat Phillips could be leaving as well, that is obviously going to open up a couple more spots for the homegrown quota that can't obviously be filled by non-homegrown players. Is this something of a bit of concern? I would say yes. Not a major concern by any means necessary, but still a slight concern going forward nonetheless. I wonder if Liverpool have got something in the pipeline lined up that maybe they're looking at maybe an English centre-back of some description, which, let's face it, the pool isn't exactly deep there. I don't know what the case may be, but it is something to, of course, be a little bit concerned about going forward. But as of right here and right now, it's nothing to be majorly concerned about, but something maybe just to keep your eye on. But obviously the main point to this is Dominik Szoboszlai appears to be a Liverpool player. Like I say, I don't want to have to do like another one of these in a couple of hours' time that someone else has jumped in and someone else is going to hijack this move or anything along those lines. I think it is pretty much done and dusted, and I'm hoping it's pretty much done and dusted. And I've obviously got my fingers crossed that it's pretty much done and dusted, because, like I say, the more I see of this guy, the more I like. Like I say, I'm not a massive fan of Bundesliga football or a massive fan of RB Leipzig. I will catch the odd game here and there, and I've probably seen this guy a little bit, and I've probably seen this guy a bit more if I'd have paid more of an attention to him. But I was probably looking at other players and maybe looking at other players from the other team or whatever. Seen this guy without actually seeing this guy, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, I, for one, am very interested, very intrigued, and very excited by the prospect of seeing this guy in a Liverpool shirt for next season, linking up with the likes of new signing Alexis McAllister and, of course, the likes of Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, Diogo Jota, and, of course, Cody Gakpo. Ballum, my brother, how you doing, my dude? I hope you are well on this Friday evening. Talk to me, dude. What do you think of Dominik Szoboszlai? Good signing, bad signing, good piece of business by Liverpool? Talk to me, dude. Would love to know what you think. I wonder if Liverpool will sign an English player. Panic signed because homegrown. Like I say, I think it's not a massive concern from right now. I think Liverpool have about 7 players that qualify under that homegrown thing, with a few spaces that are free. So I think it's okay for now. But should Nat Phillips go, and should anyone else maybe, decide to leave as well, it could be a bit of cause for concern. But yeah, we'll see how that one develops over time. Good signing, last minute, the Liverpool way. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it would take this long, to be honest. I was kind of waiting around for this deal to go through, since obviously getting the updates from Romano and Ornstein and things this morning, like everybody did, in terms of obviously advancing very, very quickly on this deal. But yeah, it seems to be a very good piece of business. I mean, it's an easy piece of business, isn't it? It's a release clause at the end of the day. It's not like we negotiated anything. It's just we hit the release clause with the right structure of the deal. So we trigger his release clause on the last day, tea time, as you do. Yeah. I imagine it's been a long day. For our negotiating team. So very good. Liverpool get along with Leipzig very well. Yeah, I mean, we've done a fair amount of business with Leipzig now. Canate, Keita, obviously Carvalho going the other way today as well. So yeah, we've done a fair amount of business, and it's kind of it's what's going to happen as well going forward. Leipzig, obviously under the Red Bull kind of signage and ownership, obviously are looking to expand their brand across football, and not just European football, but of course football from a global sort of level. And they constantly are trading back and forth these players. Szoboszlai is another one of the kind of long list of players to go from Red Bull Salzburg to, of course, Red Bull Leipzig, and then of course move on from that stepping stone of a club to another club in general. So yeah, it does seem to be the case. Obviously, you've got the likes of Haaland that has done the same thing. Takumi Minamino, I don't think he was at Leipzig, was he? He skipped the Leipzig step, I know, but there were plenty of other names that have made that kind of switch from Salzburg to Leipzig and then gone on further. And this guy is another name in the long list of players to have left Leipzig in recent years. You think about the likes of Erling Haaland, from Salzburg, of course. You think about more the Leipzig side of things, in terms of obviously your Ibrahima Konates, your Deo Upamecano's, your Christopher Nkunku's, your Timo Werner's, your Naby Keita's. They just keep finding talent, and they keep recruiting very, very good talent. And it's a very intriguing kind of system they've got going on. Adrian does take a homegrown spot and an international spot. Is he homegrown? I don't think Adrian's homegrown, is he? I didn't think he was homegrown. Where was he before he was 18? I swear he was like Spanish. Or do you mean he does take up one of those spots, as in takes it away? I'm not 100% sure what you mean there, dude. This is why Julian to Liverpool won't be surprised. Liverpool take Red Bull players. Yeah. I mean, it could be a big summer for Leipzig as well. If obviously City are still buzzing around Gvardiol, that could be another massive sale for them. So we'll have to wait and see how that one goes as well. But they constantly find big players. Leipzig away to Bayer Leverkusen. Interesting first match in the Bundesliga. Could go either way. Yeah, I'll have to watch more Bundesliga this season, because it might be a much more intriguing league if Bayern continue to struggle to acquire certain players. Could be a bit more competitive. No, I meant Adrian, third goalkeeper, could easily have been a homegrown. Oh, I get what you mean. Take this third goalkeeper to a English goalkeeper or young guys. Yeah, 100% agree. I don't understand this at all. And like I say, I think it will make it even worse, because I talked about Reece Williams obviously going out on loan this week. Nat Phillips has also been subject to transfer speculation this week as well. So that's possibly 2 that are going. If obviously anything does transpire with David Raya at Brentford, I can pretty much guarantee that Brentford are going to come calling for Caelan Kelleher. And obviously Kelleher counts as homegrown as well. So that could potentially be another homegrown spot that's going to go, which means Liverpool will certainly be needing to look at acquiring some sort of homegrown talent at some stage during this transfer window. Would you be surprised now Thiago leaves if Liverpool sign other young centre midfielders? There has obviously been slight speculation that Saudi Arabia may be involved. And I made a video on Thiago, and I said, like, could he go? Could he stay? I think we're obviously losing 3 midfielders already this summer in terms of letting them go on free transfers with their contracts expiring, that I can't see us letting a 4th one go, particularly one with the experience of Thiago. I know he's injury prone, and I know he's a bit more of a luxury player, and Jesus Christ, if he could stay out of the medical room, he would be phenomenal. He'd be phenomenal to have in that team, and maybe Liverpool can somewhere along the way, with obviously with these interesting players coming in, maybe we could balance his game time a bit more thoroughly, and maybe, just maybe, we can help him stay out of that medical room. But obviously, Thiago leaving, I don't think it will happen. I think we'll run down his contract, and I think he may himself want to go at the end of his current deal. But I think it's a big season for Thiago in terms of, obviously, depending on what Liverpool do with him. I think it's in Liverpool's court, really, what we decide to do. I don't think we'll cash in on him this summer, but at the same time, it's going to be either down to selling, letting his contract expire, or re-signing him to a new one, whether it be another 1 or 2 year deal. So, big season for Thiago. Don't see him leaving right now. I think he offers a lot in terms of experience. And with these young midfielders coming in, they can look to the likes of Jordan Henderson, and they can look to the likes of Thiago as experienced midfielders that they can learn from, and they can aspire to maybe emulate at some point. So we'll wait and see. But I don't think Thiago is going to be leaving this summer, at least. So. Brentford signed Freiburg goalkeeper. Did they? I mean, or am I thinking? No, Oh, I thought Brighton signed a Freiburg. Which goalkeeper did Brighton sign? I'm losing track of players here. Everything's just moving so weird. I thought Brighton had signed a Freiburg goalkeeper. Or is that the different goalkeeper? Because I know they signed a different one. I'm losing track of me players. I'm losing my mind there, bro. It's mad. Nat Phillips, I'm 50-50 with. I would keep him for 5th centre-back. Other times, I'm like, do we sell him? We might need him for homegrown. Liverpool need Phillips. Who would have thought that? Look, I think if we're playing a 3 at the back for next season, a 5th choice defender is obviously going to be needed. We need at least 5 centre-backs to obviously handle the rotation, and obviously depending on injuries. I agree to an extent that Phillips would be a solid 5th choice defender. It's one that we relatively won't be playing unless it's obviously early stages of maybe Carabao Cups, maybe dead games in the Europa League. Should obviously we hit a point in the Europa League group stage where, of course, we are through, and it's just basically a dead game. But at the same time, and obviously he does fit in our English homegrown quota for squad registrations, but at the same time, it has to be on the player as well. And that's where I think where we might draw the line, because Phillips has been around for many a year now. And apart from the season where he was forced to play in that Liverpool backline because of the horrendous amount of injuries we had, and he did a solid job for us, and we will forever be grateful for that season where he came in and did a fantastic job for us. He might want to move on himself. He might want to move on. He's not the perfect fit for this Liverpool team. He's not. He by no means is the perfect fit for this Liverpool team. But he could be for someone else, and he could easily make a stake of a claim to be a starting centre back elsewhere. I'm looking at I know Aston Villa have just signed Pau Torres, but for a team that sits back as deep as what they may do, he could work for Aston Villa or West Ham. West Ham could be perfect, or maybe even Crystal Palace and the Roy Hodgson right now. He could be a very good choice for one of those types of teams. But yeah, like I say, I wouldn't be against selling him, but I also wouldn't be against keeping him either, given obviously the situation and the scenario at play when it comes to Liverpool this season. Obviously playing more of a three at the back formation, needing that strength in depth, and especially when we're going into multiple competitions this season, obviously needs to work out for us in that aspect. Nat Phillips is okay, age of 24. He's a tall centre-back. Yeah, like I say, he's a tall centre-back, no nonsense, a bit of a throwback centre-back to your centre-backs of years gone by. But at the same time, yeah, he's not exactly the most perfect fit for a Liverpool high line. Bit old school. Nothing wrong with that by any means, but maybe just not what Liverpool are looking for. One more year for Adrian here, his last year. Potentially, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But of course, goalkeepers can go on until they're in their mid-40s, give or take. But at the same time, we just have to maybe pray and hope Alisson doesn't pick up any major long-term injuries. So fingers crossed for that one. But yeah, I'm very excited by this. I'm very excited by this signing. Never forget when Phillips went Bundesliga, came back, played against Everton, went back to loan for the Bundesliga that season. Mad stories on that one. Mad stories. I still remember his Cruyff turn against Zlatan in the Champions League. That would be my memory. Absolutely beautiful moment from big Nat Phillips. But yes, I'm very excited by this. I'm very excited by Dominik Szoboszlai. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right. I'm really hoping I am. I've been watching many people try and pronounce it, and I've been trying to follow it. But I'm stupid and not very good. So fingers crossed I'm not completely butchering the name. And yeah, what I do know about him, good technical ability, great, good creativity, versatile. I like the look of this guy. And like I said yesterday, if you're playing a game of Scrabble and you want to put this guy's name down, go for it, because it'll probably win you the entire game. And if you're thinking, oh, you can't have names, well, like I said yesterday, it's my house, it's my rules. If I want to play the likes of Jussi Jääskeläinen, if I want to play Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink, I will play those names and I will win that game of Scrabble. But Szoboszlai definitely is a player to watch out for the here, now, and of course the future. Very excited by the prospect of this this guy. Very excited by the potential of this guy. The way he could link up. Very good attacking midfielder who can also transition to be a little bit more box to box, has that versatility to him, can play on the wing as well and maybe cover for Salah. Maybe that could be an option for when obviously Mohamed Salah goes to the African Cup of Nations. Maybe he could go out to the wing there. I just like the look of this guy as a whole, and I think that it adds another option. It adds another layer of depth to Liverpool. It adds options for Jurgen Klopp to have going forward, options that realistically we've not necessarily had this past campaign. So I like it. Liverpool need new signings. They are making steady progress this summer. Absolutely. And I said yesterday, and I think you were there for the stream, Ballon, that people need to calm down. People need to calm down. Like, people were seeing Declan Rice going for 100 million to Arsenal. People were seeing Kai Havertz signing for Arsenal. Chelsea chasing Moises Caicedo, and Liverpool had seemingly, or to them at least, seemingly stagnated after signing Alexis McAllister very early on. I said it's a long way to go. Like, only start panicking if you are seeing Liverpool play in the Premier League week in, week out, and we are still then in need of players. Because that means then that we should be panicking. Like, panic when the transfer window is still open, but the Premier League season kicks off and you can see there are still holes to be plugged. There are still players to be bought. That's when you should start panicking. The only signings that I accept when that is obviously happening are youngsters, signings for the future, signings that may be bled into the squad throughout that season, but are going to be bench players that are going to be, reserve players that maybe be sent back out on loan to their parent club for that season before joining Liverpool the season after. Those are the kind of signings that I'm okay with when the season has kicked off. But I said yesterday, calm down. Just let the transfer window play out, because you're otherwise wasting your anger for something that may not necessarily need it when you look back on at the end of the transfer window and go, I was very angry, but it seems like Liverpool had a bit of a plan all along. Like I say, it may not be perfect. It may not be the most amazing, star-studded, starry name player out there, but at the same time, it is a solid piece of business. And I've always said, you don't need to buy the starry name. You don't need to buy the shiny, glitzy name that's out there. You just need to buy a player that is going to be solid enough and is going to be a perfect fit for this squad. And in my opinion, this is a solid fit for this squad, for the way that Jurgen Klopp likes to play. And I like it. I like this signing a lot. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Both of those would be greatly appreciated. And like Ballum is here, do get involved in that comment section. I'm sure your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings will all make for interesting reading. Fan of the Minecraft away kit? I saw that. I did see it. You know what? I actually quite like it. I actually quite like the green and white. I think it's surprisingly pretty nice. I won't be buying it because I don't buy Liverpool merchandise as my way of protesting FSG. But yeah, I quite actually like it. And it's a bit annoying because it's something a little different. It's something a little unique. I quite like it. So yeah, I actually do. And green's not really my thing. I know I'm saying that, and the irony is I'm in a green Werder Bremen shirt, but yeah, I'm not really a massive fan of green. Goalkeeper shirt looks quite smart too, so I quite like that one as well. Away shirt is a little different. Absolutely. The away shirt is a little different, and like I say, goalkeeper shirt looks pretty nice as well, my dude. So yeah, probably okay. It's much better than the weird sort of glitchy, sort of weird silvery shirt we had last season that we couldn't win in for about 3/4 of the season. Remember that weird silvery glitchy shirt that we had that was like, it was going to confuse and weird out oppositions, and it turns out it did the opposite, and it weirded out us, and it glitched out our minds. Take care. I only like the third shirt from the past season, the green one, the one Liverpool played Southampton away match. It's a nice colour combination, green and red. The away shirt marble was odd. Absolutely. Yeah, that was a very weird shirt. And yeah, we'll wait and see, obviously, if that continues. But thanks for getting involved, bro. Thanks for stopping by on the stream. Very much appreciated. Take care. Have a good Friday night. And yeah. Szoboszlai, done, dusted, and nearing completion. Like I say, pending a medical. So very interested in this one. But yeah, very much interested with how Liverpool go about their business here. It doesn't seem like they're going to be done by any means, but I'm very intrigued to know what obviously is going to be the case for Liverpool going forward. Dominik Szoboszlai seems done, dusted, and almost complete on that score. Very intrigued and happy with this one, I'm sure. And I want to know what you guys think. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Dominik Szoboszlai to Liverpool? Good signing, bad signing, good piece of business, bad piece of business. Where do Liverpool go from this point onwards? I want to know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on all of this and much, much more in the comment section, in the chat. I'd love to know what you guys think, feel, and everything else that's going on in those heads of yours in regards to this big breaking news transfer story tonight. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading in the chat, so do get involved. Yeah, like I say, it's been an interesting day full of waiting around for this, but it finally happened. Dominik Szoboszlai is edging ever closer to being officially a Liverpool player, pending a medical, of course, as of right now. And yeah, I cannot wait. Hit the like button on the way up. Enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. Dominik Szoboszlai to Liverpool is edging ever closer to being official. I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy about this news that Liverpool have signed someone. Very interested, very excited. Cannot wait for it to obviously be done, dusted, and hopefully made official. But no, take care of yourselves. Have a good Friday night. And I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever the hell it will be.